Welcome, Nina, to Raw and Cooked Vegan.
Hi.
All right. Nice to have you back, and hopefully this time our recording will work. So,
Yes.
can you start by telling me and the audience a little bit about how you were raised and what kind of foods you ate when you were a little kid?
I was raised in Germany and I grew up with lots of fruits and veggies, but also meat and dairy. Just a very standard German diet,
Yeah.
which is maybe a little bit healthier than the standard American diet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. I think so. Um, yeah, but just normal food, cooking every day, but it usually included meat or dairy or something.
It seems like Europeans are a little bit more conscious of what goes in their food in terms of pesticides and food preparation. Is that true?
I think it was like this, but now we're just becoming like America, the Big Brother.
Ugh.
It's everyone is just. We still don't have mac and cheese in Germany, for example. These packages of mac and cheese. I didn't even know that until I until I came here, and but I think stuff like this is coming big there.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Is now this is probably a very ignorant American perception of German diet, but are there a lot of potatoes? Is sauerkraut, bratwurst, that kind of thing, or is that just like once a year on Oktoberfest?
Yeah, I mean, I ate a lot of potatoes,
Yeah,
definitely. And this typical picture of potato, sauerkraut, and bratwurst is that typical Oktoberfest thing
yeah,
from Bavaria.
yeah.
Everyone everything that American tell me about Germany is only Bavaria, the part of Germany.
Okay,
So
good.
Bavaria is still a very traditional part, and yes, they eat a lot of bratwurst and drink a lot of beer.
Gotcha, gotcha. And what part of Germany are you from? What city did you grow up in?
I grew up in Western Germany, in Düsseldorf,
Okay,
which
okay.
is close to the border to the Netherlands.
Okay. All right. Now, so you had kind of a standard German diet, and how long would you say you were living that way? Like, up to what age did you eat that way, and then when did you start to begin considering making changes to your diet?
I was eating that way until I was 18, and
Hmm.
then I changed my diet to I became vegetarian,
Yep.
and
What
short
spurred you?
after, huh?
What spurred you on to make that change?
I always loved animals so much, every animal, and I could never watch someone kill an animal. And then I sometimes thought, okay, but I eat animals, but I didn't even make this connection that I kill them. Just like
Yeah.
most people are not
Yeah.
aware of what they are doing. But then at some point I made this connection, and then it just something clicked, and I knew, okay, if I eat animals I kill them, so I have to stop. And then that's why I went vegetarian.
That's very reasonable. Very
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay, so that happened when you were 18. And can you describe a little bit? It sounds like your initial transition was to simply vegetarian. So that meant you were still eating eggs and dairy?
Yes. But short after I found this site, vegetarians are murderers. And I was shocked because I thought I'm awesome now because I'm vegetarian and stuff like that. And then I read about why vegetarians still kill animals, and then I decided to go vegan. I also watched Earthlings,
Yeah,
and I couldn't even watch the movie. I had I watched it the whole time, but I more just cried and didn't look at the screen. Just hearing the screams of the animals made me so angry.
yeah.
Yeah, so of course I had to go vegan. I just couldn't go back anymore. And then I was a strict vegan, and then I just experienced a lot and got to know a lot of people.
Okay, let me before you continue, can you tell me how long were you vegetarian before you went to vegan? How many
Um,
months? Or what age did you start to begin to think about perhaps changing that diet?
I thought about that my whole life because I always loved animals so much, but I never made that step happen. So I really started changing it with 18. I became vegetarian.
Okay, and I think you told me when you were 18, it kind of clicked in your head that you were actually contributing to there was a connection between eating the animals and then the killing of the animals, which you hadn't really recognized up until then.
Yeah, I just always watched these documentaries about animals, and I always had to cry when some animal gets killed by another animal, even though it's nature. But yeah, afterwards I just ate meat again, so I obviously didn't make that connection.
Yeah.
But then at some point I realized that if I love animals so much, I have to stop eating them. And then yeah, I just stopped. New Year's, when I was 18, I stopped eating meat.
Okay. And I think you told me that initially you transitioned to vegetarian, and that lasted about 2 weeks until you realized that you had best become vegan. And I think you said, did you see you saw the video Earthlings, and what was it about that made you think I've really got to be vegan?
Yeah, I saw that movie Earthlings. I didn't really see it because I was just crying and had a pillow in front of my face. But
Yeah.
I also found a very mean saying that said vegetarians are murderers, and I
Mm.
was really hurt by that. And then I tried to find out why, and then I realized that drinking milk and eating eggs still kills animals. So I had to
Yeah.
stop that too. After Earthlings, I couldn't go back. I
Yeah.
knew it's over forever. I can't ever eat animals again.
All right, now can you tell us a little bit about what you experienced in terms of your physical health as you made this transition? So I think if I remember right, your health was generally pretty good throughout your youth. You
Hmm.
were very athletic. You were big time into gymnastics, so
Yeah.
that was a positive, healthy thing. Did you notice any health benefits when you first changed to vegetarian and then to vegan? Did you see anything improve, or were there other factors that you still weren't being as healthy as you could at that time?
Um. Yeah, like you said, I was always very athletic. And I didn't see a change in how athletic I am. I think I maybe got sick a little less.
Yeah,
Um, the one big thing I noticed was that I felt very light after eating.
yeah.
That was a big thing, yeah. But
D-
I never was really I didn't get sick a lot or anything, so I didn't see a change just when I went raw, but we talk about that later.
Okay, okay. So this initial change was 18. You went about 2 weeks vegetarian, then you switched to vegan. And for how long were you vegan before you considered raw food?
Well, I was going up and down in my veganism. I tried things out and I went back to vegetarian several times. And just because I didn't eat eggs or dairy or something, but I ate something that had dairy in it,
Yeah,
and then I wasn't vegan anymore. So that was a big up and down for years. I was vegan for a long time, for a lot of months, and then I ate something that wasn't vegan, and then I couldn't call myself vegan anymore.
yeah.
Just like that, yeah. And then a
Now, but
few, yeah.
when you say that, you mean just dairy or eggs. You never went back to eating meat or
No,
allowing meat.
meat was as soon as I stopped eating it, just a few days later, I couldn't touch meat again because I just felt so grossed out by it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I just saw a dead animal. So
yeah.
that never changed. Yeah. But the
Yeah.
connection to milk and eggs is hard to make if you don't always educate yourself and stay on track with it. It's so easy to forget.
That's a great point. You really have to read labels, and if you go out to eat at restaurants, if you really want to be careful, you've got to talk to the waiters and the staff and find out what's actually in the food. That's a great point.
Yeah, and also it's easy not to forget that eating meat kills animals, but it's easier to forget that drinking milk kills animals.
Yeah,
It's
that's a great.
yeah, so it's super easy to just say, "Oh, whatever, I just eat that yogurt now because I don't know, you it's hard to always keep in mind that this is just as bad."
That's an interesting point. I think I might add a few things to that. I would say I still think vegetarianism is better than meat eating,
Definitely.
but I know that with especially farming in the United States, the purchasing of milk leads to separating calves from their mothers, and of course, as soon as the mothers can't produce milk, they're killed.
Mm,
So in that respect, I totally agree with you. But I do think there are perhaps small enclaves around the world where they actually raise cows humanely. So I think it's
probably.
possible. It's possible to have a humane dairy and maybe even a humane egg, although I would question whether there's any health benefit to eating
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's why I sometimes when I ate eggs, and I'm not a vegan anymore then of course, but I only would eat eggs if I saw the chicken outside playing around and stuff like this.
Yeah, yeah,
If it's good for me or not, I don't know, but sometimes I ate some eggs because of that, because I saw them having a good life, or I ate some honey
yeah,
because I I never really made that connection so far that honey kills bees, or that it's I don't know. I know what's up with milk and stuff like this, but I don't really know why honey is
yes,
bad. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I do, because I don't know. I'm not too up on that myself. I understand that there are some questionable practices associated with beekeeping in terms of commercial honey production.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think again it might be possible. I mean, my sister used to keep bees,
Mhm.
and they do make more honey than they need.
Yeah.
So there are some arguments that can be made. That there's a symbiosis that can be created between humans and bees. I'm sure strict vegans would disagree with me on that. I probably wouldn't be as strict about honey as many of the other foods,
Yeah,
but
I think it's about exploiting animals. I
yeah,
don't want to exploit animals, and if I take something away from bees that is theirs, I wouldn't do that. So I have to educate myself about this a little bit better. But right now I'm vegan and I don't tend to go back, so I
yeah,
probably won't eat it anymore. Yeah, but I especially am vegan not only because I love animals so much, but also because I don't want to exploit them.
yeah. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds like you were vegan since you were 18, and then you went through, uh, I don't know, a year, 2, 3 years, where you might eat some non-vegan foods, and then you'd go back to vegan. How long did that last, and did you at some point make a firm decision that you would be strictly vegan?
Good. Okay, so when did when did I decide to stay vegan? Was that your
Yeah.
question?
Well, it sounds like you went through a few years where you gave yourself some flexibility and you might occasionally eat foods that had either eggs or milk, and that might last a short period, then you'd go back to strict vegan. Was there a point at some time where you said, now I'm really not going to eat eggs or milk anymore. I'm going to be real strict about that.
Yeah, that was recently, a few months ago, when I went raw. I
Okay.
started thinking about it again more than I used to, because like I
Mm-hmm.
said, it's so easy to, you say I'm going vegan, and for a few weeks you're totally on it and you know exactly why, and then after a few weeks you just forget why you went vegan. And then when I went raw, I just started thinking about it more again, because I also watched a lot of videos. And yeah, that just reminded me again on why I went vegan.
Right.
Yeah, and then I just had to read about it again, because when I went vegan months ago and years ago, I read a lot. I read books, and I just educated myself and had so much information why it is good to be vegan. And
You know, this is a great point, Nina, because we're just continuously bombarded with the opposition, so to speak. You're moving
mhm,
around out in the world, and while the numbers of vegans are growing, you're always, when you're out in society, you're kind of going against this popular consciousness, which is not very conscious in terms of animals and the eating of animals. So I think it's
yeah,
easy to lose it.
yeah, it's
Um,
super easy. Even
Oftentimes not even intentionally, just
yeah,
because you're at a party and there's food there and you think it's vegan and then you realize later it wasn't. So
yeah,
um,
right. And I also just, when you go vegan, probably everyone thinks about it secretly. Is it really the healthiest way to be? Maybe people don't want to say that they are concerned, but I think everyone does that.
yeah, that's interesting. That's another thing, is that generally the popular culture has this view of veganism as being unhealthy, and so that's a hurdle that has to be crossed. Yeah, I
Yes,
think I
and
think there's much evidence that shows that it's not, but yeah, it's a big hurdle, I think, too. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, So before you go more into the raw food, can you say a little bit about some of the foods you ate while you were vegan? Were you eating a lot of cooked vegan, that is? Were you eating grains? Were you eating potatoes, salads, a lot of fruit? What was your diet like on the cooked vegan approach?
I would say my cooked vegan diet was not healthier than my standard German diet, because I was already eating healthy when I ate meat and stuff. As I ate a lot of fruits and veggies. So I continued doing this while I was vegan, but I also continued eating a lot of crap,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sugar and all kinds of
Fried
crap.
foods. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so I wasn't I wasn't healthier, but I wasn't unhealthy because I wasn't unhealthy before.
right.
But
Okay,
I was addicted to sugar
okay.
since a long time, since I was in elementary school.
Now you say
Because
addicted to sugar. I mean, I might say, naturally we enjoy sugar. It's a natural food for
yeah,
us. So, do you think it was a natural inclination, or you mean addiction because you were eating refined sugars, or?
yeah, refined sugar. I ate um a piece of bread or two with Nutella every morning since elementary school, until I was 22. There is, in all these years, there's maybe 1 or 2 days I didn't eat a bread with Nutella. And if I didn't, I needed something different with refined sugar. And
Yeah.
if I couldn't eat something like this, I was really mad and angry. Yeah.
Yeah, for Americans, I guess most Americans know what that is now, but Nutella is popular in Europe, and it's kind of a hazelnut and chocolate mixture, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it tastes really good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's probably not that healthy, especially if you eat it every day. And I was addicted to it because I started with little quantities, but then at some point I needed more because one bread didn't make me happy anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, really crazy.
All right, so you went along in this vein for a while. And then what were the things that got you to begin thinking about a raw food diet and perhaps eliminating some of these what you now might call unhealthy foods like Nutella or perhaps fried foods or butter, maybe oil?
um, for this, I have to say too that I had an eating disorder. We didn't even talk about that.
Okay.
Um, but I was never super skinny because I was starving for 2 weeks and then I was binging it all back in.
Uh-huh.
So I was never skinny. No one could tell that I'm having an eating disorder, but I was in front of the mirror 5 times a day and on the scale 10 times a day. And yeah, I
Yeah.
was eating an apple a day for 2 weeks, and then I was eating everything I care for 2 days. So
What
this, yeah,
at what age did the eating disorder begin? At what age?
um, probably with 14, 15.
Okay. Okay.
And it went all the way through my teeny years until I was 21.
Okay, so even you made your transition to vegetarian, vegan at 18, and you were
Yeah.
still having eating disorder issues.
Yeah, because I didn't eat healthy. I just continued eating how I do, just in a vegan version or
Okay,
vegetarian version. Yeah.
okay. And then you say until you're 21, 22, was there something that helped you break free from the eating disorder pattern?
Um, I just got really tired of it because I was in mental hospitals twice in my life because
Mm-hmm.
of this too. And
Yep.
I was just so tired of being caught in this terrible, I don't even know how to call it. It's just a really, really dark hole.
Yeah.
And being in there is just so sad, and you don't want to live, and nothing makes sense. And if you get up in the morning and you go on the scale and you didn't lose weight, your whole day is just down the drain. And I just didn't want to live that like this anymore. But I still hated my weight and my body. So
You know, it's interesting.
yeah.
My perception is that this is pretty common in the United States, and from what you're saying, would you say that it's as common in Europe? And it seems that it has to do somewhat with this media representation of the feminine in these unrealistic portrayals, and all the photoshopping and all the artificiality, this plastic surgery, creating this kind of false false goal for women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that it's really common everywhere in the world where we have TV and all the access to the internet, because I never said that I have an eating disorder because of all the commercial, but I think subconsciously it that's that's why I was. I didn't,
Yeah,
you know, I would never say that was the reason, but I think it plays a big role subconsciously for
yeah.
everyone. And even, I mean, there are so many reasons why you hate your body and you don't want to eat anymore. That was not the main reason for me either. It was different stuff, but subconsciously it was definitely too. And
Part
I
of it,
was a
yeah.
cheer coach, and then I know lots of teen girls,
Yes,
13, 12, 11 years old, and they all start like this. They all want to lose weight, and they are so skinny, but they still want to lose weight.
yeah,
It's really
yeah.
crazy.
That's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so but happily at 21, about 21, you were able to kind of break out of that. And was that around the time? Let's see, how long until you started to consider raw from that period? In other words, you sounds like you were vegan for a while with a more balanced diet emotionally, and then you became raw eventually. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I came to America last year, and I was really unhappy with myself, with my body. And I just wanted to change something, but I didn't know what I could change because I don't know, I was so trapped in my whole situation. I was
Yeah.
still eating cookies or something, frozen yogurt or just crab every day, and I knew that I have to change this if I want
Okay.
to lose weight. Um, so
I
then
have
I
to I have to put in here, I still eat cookies once in a while, so I have
yeah
to confess that.
yeah I now my candies is dates.
All right.
um yeah, I had a huge meltdown last year in June, I think. A
Yeah.
really big meltdown where I just cried and I hated my world and everything so much.
Yeah.
And then I decided with my husband that we want to change everything and we want to get healthy and we want to work out. So we
Yep.
just started doing this, and we changed our diet to healthier. We stopped eating candy every day and stuff like this. But
Yeah.
we were still cooked vegan, and we still had lots of tofu and pasta and bread and tons of
Yep.
this stuff. And I didn't see changes because now I know it was the pasta and the bread and all these things.
When you say you didn't see changes, you mean you didn't see positive health changes?
Um, I just didn't lose the weight that I wanted to lose for all the
Haha. So
effort, I put in my workouts. I worked out almost every day for 1 or 2 hours, but it didn't really change me.
okay. Now
People,
that's interesting because you said that you had kind of resolved a lot of these maybe what could we call them, emotional food issues by the time you're 21, but you still had a desire to lose weight after that.
yeah, this is still there. It's so deep. It's
Yeah.
probably so deep in everyone, in every girl. Um,
Because
even
it seems, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, it seems like you're about the right weight for your height right now. Would you say that that's accurate or no?
Yeah, I'm 5'3" and I probably weigh 130.
Okay.
And that's
So yeah.
probably pretty good. I think my BMI is 19 or 20, so it's perfect. But
Okay.
still, um,
The
yeah, I don't
old the
know.
old tapes are, yeah, yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you.
right.
Yeah.
But it's more about that I still didn't learn to accept myself just how I am.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I was still trying to lose weight,
Okay. Let me
and
ask you,
yeah.
before you go on, let me ask you one other thing before I forget it. If I remember right, was it your veganism that encouraged your husband, Matt, to become vegan?
Yeah, he loves animals just as much as I do, and I just talked to him that I just told him, if you love animals so much, isn't it wrong that you eat their milk or eggs or something because you know that they get killed for it or they suffer? And he said, yes, you're right. I would probably do it if it's organic. And then we said, okay, let's check it out if organic is really a good thing. So
Okay.
then we researched a lot about organic, and we found out that it's not a good thing. And then that was then the only last way we could go. If we can't eat organic eggs and organic milk without making animals suffer, we just have to stop eating it.
Now this is interesting because the majority of folks I talk to, not all, but many of the folks I talk to, they come to veganism for health reasons, and it sounds like you came to veganism for ethical reasons. So your
Yeah,
primary motivation is animals, and then
definitely.
I guess go ahead and continue. So you started to think about this raw food approach, right? You'd still been eating grains and pastas and breads and things, and I think you still eat some cooked foods now. But would you say that the majority of your food now is raw with a high fruit intake?
Yeah. Before I go to this, I just want to say to your question, if I went vegan for the animals,
Yeah.
Just like my husband, yeah, definitely. Because now, even if someone would give me the proof that veganism is unhealthy, I would still stay vegan because I don't want to kill or make animals suffer.
That's
So this is
beautiful.
just, I just love animals so much, every animal in this world, and I really don't want to, I just can't have a dog or love dogs and then make chickens suffer. That's just not fair. Yeah.
I
So
love it. I
yeah,
love it. Yeah.
even if I would hurt myself with being vegan, I would still probably do it because I just can't hurt other beings.
I totally understand that. Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you. Um, so then to continue,
Yeah.
so what it sounds like you thought you still might like to lose some weight, but it seems like you came to the realization that because you were eating a fairly high quantity of grains, grain products, starches, that was related to your weight. And is that part of the reason you decided to go more fully raw?
I went raw because I stopped the birth control pill
Uh-huh.
a year ago and I got really bad skin because of that.
Okay.
And I was trying lots of things to heal my skin for years, for 10 years, because I always had bad skin
Yeah.
and nothing ever worked. So then I was really desperate and looking for an answer because I don't want to put any chemicals in my body. I don't trust the pharmacy, the medication and all this. I don't trust it
Yeah.
at all.
The medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I don't trust it. And I'm all into, I know that we are we are nature. We are part of nature. So nature will be able to heal us. That's what I believe. And I always was like this. I never took any medication for a headache or anything because
Now,
I, yeah,
can I, sorry to interrupt.
sure.
I think you had mentioned to me, I think it might be interesting for the audience, was the reason you were initially prescribed the birth control pill, was that for acne? Or was that just, I think, tell me if I have this right. You had a little bit of acne, you started taking the pill, and then the acne went away, or no, no, no. There was a different. There were two different kinds of pills, right? Okay, go ahead and tell
Right.
the story.
I just took the birth control pill because I wanted to be protected.
Okay,
And
okay,
then at some point my doctor just gave me a new pill because she saw my skin and said, if you take this pill, it will probably make your skin better. So
okay.
I was protected, plus I had pretty skin. So that was
It,
awesome.
it would be interesting to know the difference between those hormones, what the difference is. But anyway, so you
Yeah.
took this new pill, and I think you were only on, in total you were on the birth control pill for about 7 years, and the
7.
last year you were on this new pill that made the acne go away. Is that right?
Right, that's right.
Okay.
But at the same time, just a few months later, after getting having that new pill, I realized how bad it is to put these hormones in your body, and
Yeah.
I decided to stop the pill again because I really didn't want to like to put chemicals in my body. I
Yeah.
never did that with a headache or anything, so why would I do it every day? That doesn't make sense. Yes,
Yeah.
so I decided in May last year to stop it, and I knew that it probably my skin will freak out, and because almost everyone has crazy side effects when you stop it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that just shows you if you have that crazy side effects, it can't be good to take this pill.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Along these lines, if you don't mind my asking, you certainly don't have to talk about this, but I think it's something that interests women who are uh, incorporating these kinds of diets into their lifestyle. Have you noticed over the years, while taking the pill and with these different diets that you've done, effects on your ovulation, like in terms of its regularity and also the ease with which you experience it? You know,
Mm-hmm.
of course, women often have PMS, and from what I've heard from women so far, it seems that much of the PMS problems can be attributed to poor diet.
Yeah.
Uh, and I hear a lot of women saying once they get on to something like a raw food or even a cooked food vegan diet, most of these symptoms disappear. So what's been your experience in that respect?
Um, I never really had PMS or any problems with my menstruation, but what I noticed was that my menstruation was very, very, very light after going raw, and
Haha.
almost not noticeable, but I knew that I still ovulate. It was still all there, because some
That's
girls are scared that it just disappears and you can't have children anymore. That's not true. It's just less painful and less complicated. You just have more freedom.
Yeah, I think Dr. Popper said to me, it becomes a non-event, and I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
It's a natural expression of the body, and it seems to me in a natural state, a woman shouldn't have to suffer in her natural healthy state.
right. It's just a part of you, but it's not affecting your daily life anymore.
Okay, now since you decided in May to give up the pill, did you experience what you thought was going to happen? Did some crazy hormonal stuff start happening? And how did this relate to the diet you were doing at the time? And how long have you kind of been primarily raw? How does that all come together?
Yeah. Yeah, I experienced crazy hormonal imbalances. My mood was just crazy and my skin was crazy. And
Haha.
it still is crazy. Not as bad anymore. It's
Yep.
healing now, but yeah, I had really bad side effects. Um but like I said, I knew it will come because I read a lot about what happens if you stop the pill. Yeah,
Yes.
so I had to deal with really bad, really, really bad acne. I had inflammation everywhere and it really hurt. And sometimes it was so bad that when I just rub over my skin for as an accident, it would just start bleeding.
Ah.
Yeah, it was really bad.
You
And
know,
yeah.
tell me from what you've read, my impression is that sometimes it can take years for something like this to work its way out of the body. Have you come across any information like that?
About acne?
Well, in terms of a detoxification, like for example, you were taking this pill for 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh
so
yeah.
that's been getting absorbed by organs in your body. Of
Mm,
course, throughout that time, the body's been trying to eliminate, but it also stores some of it because it can't eliminate it all. So what I've seen it in a variety of cases, not just with hormonal supplementation, but also there are cases of people who work in industrial environments and they get bad chemicals into their system, and then they
yeah.
go on a raw food diet, and it can take up to a year, 2 years for things to get released.
Yeah.
So, do you think that perhaps that's a possibility?
Yeah, I what I read was that it takes at least 6 to 12 months to completely get rid of the hormones, but
Yeah.
I think it takes longer.
Uh huh.
Um,
Hmm.
but I'm also really hypersensitive to chemicals and just everything, not
Yeah.
just emotionally. Just my whole life is just hypersensitive, and yeah, so I really experience a lot of things with um, medication, and also in the mental hospital when they gave me something against depression, it just didn't work. My body freaked out. I had really crazy side effects they didn't even see before. So
You know, I think you are not alone by a long shot. You know, I think
yeah,
there are a lot of people who are really sensitive, and it's such a kind of hyper uh, unconscious society. I think it must be very difficult for people who have a refined sensibility.
Yeah.
But I think also that there's a lot for the unconscious to learn from those that are sensitive.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, go ahead and continue on.
Yeah, where was I? So when I was 21, came to America, stopped the pill, my skin went crazy, and I was desperate, looking for an answer to heal myself because I didn't want to go to a doctor or anything. Um, so I just Googled and Googled and Googled and Googled and came to YouTube and found Fully Raw Christina.
Yeah,
And yeah, when I found her, I just watched tons of videos, and then I found Freely, the banana girl, and
yeah,
watched all her videos. And then I found 40 Below Fruity, and I found you and just everyone. And I was in front of the computer watching videos for days, and
yeah,
but the first video I saw, or maybe it just took me 2 or 3 videos of Fully Raw Christina, and I knew, okay, I go raw.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and then that same day I went raw, or overnight.
Okay.
And yeah, it was really crazy because, like I said, I ate tons of bread and pasta before.
Yeah.
And then I was completely raw overnight, and I swear my skin started healing the same day.
Huh.
That was
Interesting.
really crazy because I had bad inflammation, and the same day it was really red, and you could really see the inflammation. And the next day the inflammation was gone. So only, of course, I had still tons of pimples in my face because they were there and they just don't disappear like this, but the inflammation was gone. And that was my proof that I have to
And
continue.
can you tell me what were some of the foods that you ate that first day?
Um, I think I just ate all the fruits I care for. I made a big smoothie. I drink 80-ounce smoothie every day.
That's
80
awesome.
ounces.
All right.
Sometimes 90. Yeah, just tons of berries and bananas and apples and just everything.
All
Oranges.
right. Now, Nina, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang up for a second, and then
Okay.
I'm going to call you right back. Or I tell you what, you call me
Yeah.
because I want to. It's gonna ensure that I don't have any problem processing this.
Oh,
All right.
sure. Okay.
So let me do that, and just call me right back.
Yeah, I call you in a few minutes. Okay.
Very good. Okay, Nina.
Yes.
All right. This thing is fighting me.
Okay. Look at this dog.
What a cutie.
I know. She's so cute.